Good morning. I'm Scott Moon for scottmoonwriter.com. Welcome to the Moonbase. I have to thank StreamYard for giving me a nice little message when I started. It said, "Hey, you're starting early, but you're welcome to start early," because this was scheduled for 8:25. It's 8:17, and we're rolling on forward. So today I'm going to do some live streaming of writing and voice dictation. Um, Something I find particularly useful. A couple of quick things. Sometimes I will voice dictate. If I stop and start typing, it's because my air conditioner came on. Now, this microphone doesn't normally pick up the background noise as much because it's a dynamic microphone that has kind of like a cone there, and it only picks up what's right in front of it. But I'll also be switching to my dictation headphones, which I've just started using effectively, and I'll be taking these off. These will pick up background noise. It'll mess up the voice dictation. It's a giant shit show. Pardon my French. So we don't do that. I'll switch over. Now I will be using, I use, let's see, Dragon dictation on the PC. That's been giving me problems. Maybe it's my PC, maybe it's the program. I don't really care. That's a more robust dictation program as far as it learns your voice. Dragging Anywhere is on my phone. It's pretty accurate. It's very convenient. There's been some talk recently about Word's new dictation that's um, innate to the online version of Word. I've used that. It's okay. The difference is in Dragging Anywhere, you can do things like select a word, cap a word, change a word, new paragraph, bold that, this, that, delete that, and some other commands which you can't really do, or I haven't figured out how to do in the Word version, or like in just what your Apple phone will do on Scrivener. So what I'll be doing is voice dictating into Dragon Anywhere, then I will copy and paste that into the Scrivener version of my story, synchronize my phone, and then I will edit and do more elaborate versions of it and editing and stuff with the Scrivener full program on the PC, which is more powerful, especially for tracking um, plot outlines and things and doing the split screen. It's got a couple of Facebook readers. I can't on StreamYard. I can't see everybody depending on whether or not Facebook and StreamYard recognize you. So, Facebook user, I'm afraid to try voice dictation because of my heavy accent. That could be an issue. It depends. Um, yeah, if you write it in Portuguese, that might work for you. The Dragon dictation on the PC is supposed to kind of learn your voice, so that could be an option if somebody wanted to try that. Josh says, hey yo, back, and we'll get going here in a second. So right now I have no air conditioner going, so that's good news. I'll switch out my headphones. I'll pop open my Dragon Anywhere. I wonder if I could do it where you can see it. Can you see that? No, it's kind of a glare, but basically I have the app Scrivener, and I have Dragon Anywhere. I'll pop that open. And if you can see, I don't know if you can see that. What I do is what's already been transferred into my voice app will be bolded because you don't have lots of formatting option in Dragon dictation. And I'll go down here to my next story beat, which is bracketed out. There's a couple, those are pretty short. Move on to the next chapter, and we'll get started there. So I'll set my timer for 30 minutes and I'll go. And feel free to make some coffee or something if you're doing other things. All right, timer, 30 minutes, and we're going to go. One of the side drawbacks of using the phone is messages and stuff pop up all the time, which are kind of distracting. I should probably turn those off. Okay, ready, set, go. Awesome. The story beat is news of a Fosk battle, maybe human commandos involved. There's been a long 1,800 word scene before this where if you've been following the story, Corporal Young and Sergeant King get into a big confrontation, and Young finally emerges is on top for dominance of the resistance or for control of the resistance. The next story beat is Young now in command. What he's going to tell them to do, they're going to get in this big final battle. We're near the end of the book, just so you know. And then the next chapter, Halloran, Emily, and Anna and the kids are getting ready to get into the battle too. This is kind of everything coming together. Okay, so let's go. Young waited for everyone to disperse, comma, not really believing he'd pulled that off, period. King was bigger, comma, and probably meaner, period. Correct near, meaner. He'd fought dirty and won, comma, and now he had a responsibility to lead the resistance, period. New paragraph. Pizza and Lester were with him, comma, Hill had gone off to join his comrades, period. The young man had stood up for him, comma, which had been the critical factor tipping scratch that, comma, which had been a critical factor, period. It would be foolish to think he had completely switched sides, period. New paragraph. With any luck, comma, there weren't sides anymore, comma, just one unified group fighting for humanity, period. New paragraph. He looked out across the valley below the camp, comma, watching the fog roll in the low areas and the sunlight hit the mountains. Correct, mountains. Mountainside, period. The only thing that ruined the panoramic view was the contrails of Fosk ships high above, period. Select Foss. Wrong keyboard, sorry. The other thing about that went in the book, sorry. The only thing about panoramic is the contrails of, got to take out one keyboard, sorry. The only thing about the phone version too is you can add words kind of. I haven't tried it for a while, but generally I just retype the fancy sci-fi or fantasy words depending on what type of genre I'm writing. See where we at. New paragraph. In the distance, comma, he also heard the sounds of battle, period. That was a more and more frequent occurrence, and probably suggested he'd picked the wrong time to be in charge, comma, because there was basically no way humanity could win against this alien invasion, period. New paragraph. How big were their little victories, comma, really, question mark. He closed his eyes, comma, which was relief, period. Keeping them open despite the swelling was difficult. Period. For that matter, comma, standing was almost more than he could bear. Period. New paragraph. What the hell was I doing picking a fight with King in this condition? Select this condition. My condition, question mark. New paragraph. Pizza and Lester were facing outward from him, comma, basically protecting him from anybody who might challenge his new position, period. So far, comma, it seemed he had judged the mood of the camp correctly, comma, and that everyone had been on the tipping point, period. Everyone had been, scratch that. Following King had seemed easy enough, comma, even for those who hadn't liked him, comma, until he shot Corporal Nguyen. Correct, Corporal. Choose 5. New paragraph. Lester turned around and moved close to him, period. Open quote. What now? Question mark. Close quote, new paragraph. Young didn't have to think about it. Period. He knew what had to be done. Period. Open quote. Olympus told us we have to recover the navigator. Select navigator. Cap navigator. Period. So that's what we're going to do. Comma. And unfortunately, comma, that probably means heading right into the center of the chaos. Period. Close quote. New paragraph. He faced the worst. Scratch that. Open quote. The only easy day was yesterday, comma, close quote, Lester said, period. New paragraph. Young nodded, period. Open quote. Take pizza, comma, find out which of King's command staff is willing to work with us, comma, and have them give the order to roll out, period. I want them to know nothing's changed except that I'm in charge, comma, and King's in timeout, period. Close quote, new paragraph. Open quote. Timeout, question mark, close quote, Lester asked. Period, open quote. Are we writing that into the SOP, question mark? Close quote, new paragraph. Open quote. Sure, comma, why not, period. A lot of things will change if we survive the next few days, period, close quote, new paragraph. Pizza joined the conversation. Scratch that. Pizza caught his eye, period. Open quote. You mean when we win? Period, close quote. Insert after mean, comma. New paragraph. Open quote. Yeah, comma, pizza, period. Select pizza. Cap pizza. That's exactly what I meant, period, close quote. New paragraph. Okay. The story beat reads as Halloran, Emily, and Anna see battle, watch Ravagers swarming from mountainside and valleys toward Fosk in the center of defensive ring. Fosk assault the defensive ring and are savaged by the Ravagers. Say that 3 times fast. uh, who Han's children, who follow Han's children. I'm not sure that's going to work because they're too monstrous. Halloran and company don't know who these Ravager leaders are. Okay. This is a good example of how a detailed outline for me sometimes gets a little clunky, but I know where I'm at in the story, so I can take that and modify as needed. The only disadvantage to doing it this way is normally I would have Scrivener pulled up there so I could look back at the last. I'm going to have to do that. Okay. Because I need to figure out with Scrivener, it's real easy. If you have the full version up, you can pull up the chapter you're working on, and then right next to it have the last chapter a character was in. And so I need to make sure my phone is synced, which it is. I'll give it another quick pop, and we'll go. I'm going to pause my timer because I'm not writing right now. Have a sip of coffee because why not? Joaquim Oliveira. I hope I'm saying your name right. Yeah, it is cool. I do like the app. It's good for going on the go. You have to be careful with getting really excited and writing like 5,000 words, but then you have to spend 4 hours editing it. So now the way I'm dealing with that is I do my voice dictation, but I kind of stop. I haven't been doing it this time because it was kind of flowing there, but like I will stop and read the last couple of paragraphs, and like lots of things that I know that the app does wrong. Like it likes the way I talk. It will think when I say and, it usually thinks in. Names are obviously bad. It likes if I say managed, it'll say manage. It doesn't like the ed on the end, the way I talk, or maybe the way the app is. So that's something to go. So to clear my throat out when I'm drinking coffee, anyway. So now it's synced on my phone. I'm going to close the app on my phone. I'm going to go to my computer, which the distance is just right where I can't quite tell if I need readers or not readers. And then I will open the file They Came for Blood, which is the series. I have all 3 books and outline for book 4 and 5 that are started in one project in Scrivener. And we done a couple episodes on Keystroke Medium with the Scrivener and why we like it and how to use it. So it takes a minute. It says backing up the project. So now I synced it on my phone, but now it's syncing on the computer or Dropbox. I need like some music to roll. If I was more techie, I could have some Jeopardy, not Jeopardy. What's the game show where the music plays while you're waiting? Clock's ticking down. Normally it doesn't take that long. I think it's because I have Photoshop open in the background because I made the show poster for today in Photoshop. I'll close that and actually quit it. There we go. I think that's speeding things up. Reloading project data. Okay, there we go. And I have my camera kind of in front of the screen here, so I'm going to move it a little bit. Let's see. Synced documents, that looks okay. I'm going to maximize to get my whole screen because now I can see the words there. And what am I looking for? Oh, yeah, I was looking for the last place Halloran and his crew were in there. So it's really far back there. These side characters, sometimes I think I just had them do a scene that's been like 5 chapters back. There it is, chapter 23. Wow. So we haven't heard from Halloran and Charles's family since chapter 23. I'm going to click on here and let's go to this last scene. So the last thing that happened with them, they had landed. They'd been captives on an alien ship that crashed because a lot of ships are crashing for reasons that are explained in the story if you read the whole book. And there's this crash and now they're all on the surface. So let's see. So they've crashed. And I think they crashed quite a ways away from this battle. So they're going to have to be traveling or have traveled during those last 10 chapters they weren't in. That'll work. That'll give me what I need. So I can go back in here, make sure I'm still synced up. I also have a little lavalier mic that I can clip, like if I don't need the headphones or I need to have my hearing for other reasons for some reason. Okay. Halloran knew how to sleep, period. He learned it in the Marine Corps, comma, if you're not marching, you're sitting. Scratch that. Scratch that. Scratch that. Select comma, M dash. If you're not marching, comma, you should be sitting, comma, and if you're sitting, you should be laying down, comma, and if you're laying down, you should be sleeping, period. That was the old joke, comma, but any good soldier knew it was always necessary to sleep standing up with your eyes open while remaining alert, period. Or so it was hoped, period. Here's a good example. The sentence was Halloran knew how to sleep. It said Halloran knew had to sleep, which how? I'm going to change learn to he'd become a master of the unconscious arts. Select he, he'd. Select you not, you're not. Select he should, you should. Almost always. Delete that. New paragraph. Life as a cyborg was proving to have a lot of side effects, comma, and not all of them bad, period. As long as he didn't think about what he'd lost, comma, he could motor on, comma, press forward, comma, concentrate on his objective, M dash. which was killing the shit out of aliens, period. They'd made him into the scratch that. They turned him into this monster, comma, and they were going to get some payback. Scratch that. And he was going to get some payback. If it was the last thing he did, period. New paragraph. He steered the giant, comma, late 90s Suburban along Highway 25, open bracket, check the highway detail, close bracket, at reckless speeds, period. Three times they'd stopped and talked to ragged bands of outlaws calling themselves resistance fighters, comma, and all three times, comma, they'd been told not to go to the southwest because all hell was breaking loose, period. New paragraph. Oh, I forgot to restart my timer. That's so annoying. I'm going to estimate it. So like life as a dragon doesn't like profanity. So I'm going to have to, he's killing the ship out of these aliens, which is kind of funny. I'd almost be tempted to leave it. They turned, amended this monster. That's not right. Him into a. The other thing, if you look at Dragon, most of the programs will tell you to try to talk naturally. But if you're having a problem with this particular app, what I found is if you speak super intentionally, sometimes it'll get the words a little bit better. Or maybe it's just how I overcome my Kansas drawl, which I didn't think was a thing, but apparently Dragon thinks it is. Select they been. They'd been. Select depend. Select they depend. They'd been. That's exactly what I want, comma, Halloran thought, period, new paragraph. Open quote. You need a break, question mark, close quote, Anna asked, comma, barely looking at him from the passenger's seat, period. She was focused straight ahead and slept even less than he did, period. Maybe that was part of being a cyborg, period. Correct, and I. Choose one. New paragraph. Also, so when you're using Dragon, if you say correct, if you say, like, so in this example, it said, and I ask, and it needed to be Anna. So I said correct and I, and it gave me an option, which was Anna. and I selected it, and it replaced that, and then it teleported my cursor back to where I had been when I made the request to make the correction. If you say select and I, it will take you there and you can make the correction. Then you have to manually go back to where you're at. It's sometimes one is better than the other, just depends. Was focus, scratch that. Select was focus, was focused. One thing that might be messing up that is I can hear my son playing either Fortnite or the new Avengers game out in the next room. But um, the other tip is I wanted to change the word focus, but sometimes if you select a word group instead of a word like was focus and then replace it with was focused, it works better. I don't know why. It's a trick I picked up with this software or this app. Focus. New paragraph. Open quote. I'm not tired. Period. Haven't been for a while. Comma, close quote. He said, period, new paragraph. She sat up, comma, adjusted her freakishly silky red hair, comma, which then adjusted itself like he'd seen it do before. Period. Open quote. You have a lot less. Scratch that. You have a lot less biological material. Period. As long as you listen to your feedback loops, comma, you can maintain this pace for a long time without sleeping, period. Eventually, comma, your mind will need a rest, comma, select comma, period. You'll get used to it, period, close quote, new paragraph, open quote. Why does your hair do that? Question mark, close quote. Halloran asked. Period, new paragraph. She looked at him. Scratch that. The look she gave him was death, comma, but she quickly suppressed her reaction, period. Another moment passed, and he could almost see her deciding to answer, period. New paragraph. She spoke in a low voice. Scratch that. Her gaze flicked to the back where Emily and the girls were sleeping, comma, then back to Halloran. Period. She spoke in a low voice, period. Open quote. My hair isn't mine, period. It's another entity, comma, a symbiote. Correct the symbion. A symbiotic life form. That was fashionable when the Fosk destroyed my homeworld, period. Close quote, new paragraph. Open quote, comma, what? Question mark, close quote, Halloran asked, period. Voice dictation doesn't like the word so maybe it was I don't know. Hold on. Let's see. I think we're getting relatively close to the end of the 30 minutes since I forgot to restart my timer, but we'll go a little bit more. New paragraph. Open quote. You don't know what a symbiotic life form is? Question mark. Earth doesn't have anything like that? Question mark, close quote, new paragraph. Open quote. Yeah, comma, it does, period. Like birds that eat bugs off of a back of a rhinoceros. Period. But I'm not sure that's what you're talking about. Period. What exactly does it do to you? For you? Question mark. Screw it, comma. I'm sorry I asked. Period. Close quote. New paragraph. She checked the back seats again before continuing. Period. It draws nutrients. Scratch that. Open quote. We exchange nutrients, comma, of course, period. It's somewhat photosynthetic, comma, but less so on this planet, period. On my homeworld, comma, it worked better, period. It also has a warning feature, comma, based on sound, I think, period. But when I get a feeling that something is coming, comma, I listen, period. Close quote, new paragraph. Open quote. Is that why people on your homeworld adopted these things? Question mark, close quote, new paragraph. She laughed. For the first time he could remember, period. Open quote. No, comma, they're simply for vanity, period. You never have to wash them or style them, period. If you get one that doesn't like you, comma, they can do some strange things to your hairstyle, comma, but generally they do all right, period. Close quote, new paragraph. Halloran focused on flashing lights near the horizon, period. He was driving without scratch that. He was driving without his headlights on, comma, had been for 50 miles, period. Correct 50. Choose one. Open quote. I think we're getting close. period. This road's getting narrower, comma, the turn steeper, period. Correct, deeper, steeper, close quote, new paragraph, open quote, are you sure you should be getting them involved? Question mark, close quote. Anna jerked a thumb towards Emily and the children, period. New paragraph, open quote. Charles is with the resistance, comma, close quote. Halloran said, period. Open quote. I need to unload them so I can do some real work, period. Close quote, new paragraph. She settled back into her resting position, period. Select period, comma, then spoke with her eyes closed, period. Open quote. I'd also like to do some real work, period. Close quote, new paragraph. He extended his right arm, comma, fist closed, for a bump, comma, wondering if she would somehow sense the movement with her fancy hair, comma, and she did, period. They connected knuckles like two fatalistic warriors ready to go in for the final battle, period. New paragraph. Open quote. Hoorah. Scratch that. Scratch that. He pressed down on the accelerator, comma, taking the next turn. Too fast. But his passengers were used to it by now, period. All right. Let's see. We're going to call that 30-minute writing sprint. By my timer, it's probably a little bit more, but whatever. We're going to count it, and distractions and all. My screen went dead. So now the next thing I have to do is I have to close Scrivener on my Mac that I had used to see where the chapter left off. And what it told me was that they needed to do some traveling. So that wasn't really in the outline that they're going to have to travel. And I wanted to get them from A to B without making it drag, but also not too abruptly, which is kind of an issue. I could go back and rewrite it where they don't land where they landed, but that's just not what I'm going to do in this case. And so that's almost like a little bit of narrative summary, but a little scene transition. I don't know. It's good. Hopefully the editor likes it enough. So the next thing I need to do is synchronize my phone, make sure it's synchronized. I know this seems like a tedious process, but really it's pretty easy because I'm used to it and whatnot. So let's see. Close Snap Scrivener on here. Victory Day will be out October 15th. The final upload date I have for Amazon is October 10th. I have the first 50,000 words to the editor and back twice. So she's edited it, proofread it. I've made changes twice. I will also hire BZ Hercules to do another proofread. Hopefully can fit me in. She's normally very fast. And then I'll try to do some more just to get a good quality product. Should be time for all that. It should be published on schedule. I had intended to publish it in September, but life happens. So now I'm going to open They Came for Blood on the phone. I'm going to find chapter 36, I think we're in. And I have my story beats in Dragon anywhere as well, so I can check the story beat to make sure I'm in the right place. So news of Foskov battle. That is not bolded, so I need to select it. Copy that section. Make sure I'm loading it in the right place when gosh, a lot of words in this. Normally, sometimes I clean these out, but okay. Go to Scrivener. Oh, that was in the last chapter. Okay. So let's go here. My air conditioner just came on and it's super loud. Drives me crazy and does not cool the utility room. You can believe that. Young Now on Command. Okay, that's also one I just did. So I'm going to go to Young Now on Command. And so, like, one of the things I have with outlining is those beats were meant to be like in my mind when I thought this would be like maybe one paragraph to handle it well, and then especially if I voice dictate, you wind up coming up with a lot more words. But I think that they were needed. One of the things my editor's been telling me on this particular project is that I need that, like, she's like, yeah, you need more description here. You need to show me this scene. You need to put this in action and stuff. So, what's up? I do want to play Fortnite soon. Just give me a few minutes. I'm finishing up. Young Now in Command. That one's done. Kick down to chapter 36. Now we're at Halloran and Emily and Anna and the kiddos, the children in jeopardy. Go back to Dragon Anywhere. Find that. When you copy in Dragon, maybe it's my phone because it goes back to the beginning of the document, so you have to scroll down every time. And now, and I'm just doing this. I'm including this in the podcast or in the live stream because I'm going to tell you how many words I got with this here in a second. But I have to get it in my calculator first. So, copy that. Bada bing, bada boom. Paste that into there. Okay. So I'd written about 900. I checked my spreadsheet. I'd written about let's see, 953 words in an earlier writing sprint, and now we are up to 2,065. So I probably went over a little bit 30, given the amount of words I got. So I've done 30 minutes of dictation. I think it's fairly clean enough that my editing process that I'm going to go through will handle it. And I was fairly intentional about fixing things as I go, as best I could. So I've gotten I've got over 2,000 words in 30 or maybe 35 minutes, maybe 40 minutes. So that's not bad. I really need 3,000 words a day to get back on top of my goals. That sounds like a lot. It's really not if you're focused and not distracted and whatnot. One of the things I've been trying to figure out why I've had a hard time matching the speed and production rate that I did last year when I was writing the last Reaper series. And some of it is every series is different. I'm also working on finishing my third Brothers in Arms book and some other projects, getting psyched up for my next for Orphan Wars with Jeff Chaney. So every project is different. That's a thing. But also I've been trying to find some balance where Facebook user, good morning, Walt. Fortnite, yes. I'm trying to find some balance. I'm also working on speaking of Walt, a collaborative project. He is writing a book called Poseidon Rising, which is going to tie straight into the They Came for Blood series. I think we're going to call it They Came for Power. It's going to be like a related series, and I'm super excited about it. So I have that to do too. But I've been trying to find balance in life. So one of the things I'm doing is spending some more time with the kid, and I'm learning to play Fortnite with the kids. And we figured out how to play with my youngest and my second youngest, all three of us in a Fortnite group. Yesterday we played and we had 2 wins in the Battle Royale, which is good. Most of that's because Garrett can like jump, shoot, and build a fortress at the same time. But I'm getting good with supportive fire. I got some suppressive fire if I get the right weapons. I got a couple of kills, so that was doing okay. And and then I'm just trying to spend enough time with the family where I literally put everything away, quit thinking about it. I got a promotion at work, which requires me to be much more attentive since I'm learning a new job, responsible for more people. And so I try to be 100% involved, and it takes time, but I'm not at work to do work, which I don't get paid for, but that's the way it goes. That's it. So I'm done with this. This was fairly good. Thank you for helping me meet my writing goal today. It is motivating. I've tried to do some voice dictation on different videos before. Was a little self-conscious, but this time I thought I would just do it, whether or not anybody was watching. And if it's terrible, I can delete it. And if people are interested in it, if you're a writer and you want to see kind of how that process works, hopefully that's useful. If you're a reader and you're just kind of curious what kind of crazy things writers we do to get things done, hopefully that's fun. Obviously, you don't need to watch the whole thing if you're just interested in the book. Now, you can watch that and it probably no spoilers in there. It's a huge battle. They're doing stuff, but I enjoyed it. I love this series. I have 5 other series I also love. So that's part of my problem. I'm going to get out of here. Thanks everybody who came and hung out today. Walt, I'll talk to you later. We'll do our writing meeting. We need to get that scheduled and get the project, They Came for Power moving. And Walt's, for everybody else watching, he's hammering through. He's got some fantastically amazing characters and some dynamics, and bringing his special forces background to bear on this. And then we're going to take now a lot of this happens in like the Midwest. If They Came for Blood in Colorado and some things. Well, we're going to go. No huge spoilers, but there's going to be some oceanic twist. So look forward to that. Take care. Be safe. Treat each other well, and I'll see you next time.